banks endorse the need to lend. Businesses up and down the land are still desperate to borrow funds to help their growth through these difficult times of austerity. That is particularly the case with IT equipment finance, which so many regard as crucial to their future stability and success. So why aren't they borrowing when the government and the banks appear to be putting everything back in place to enable business and commerce to return to the good old days of all-round prosperity? The answers are not clear-cut. There is a general malaise, not only within company boardrooms across the country. Ultimately, the man and woman in the street are as influential in corporate life as the government or any banks regard themselves to be. It's all to do with confidence and the ability or willingness to go out and spend. The need to make drastic cuts in public spending ricochets down from Westminster, through every local council in the land and inevitably to Joe Public and the pound, or rather lack of pounds, in his pocket. He's making his own spending cuts in his everyday life, and because he's spending less, companies are manufacturing less, councils are making spending cuts, the service industries are loath to take on staff and are forced to make their own savings. IT equipment finance is typical of one area of growth that is suffering throughout all of these professions. Time was when people went into employment in what they regarded as safe jobs, teaching, nursing, the emergency services. But almost every day we hear about redundancies in those areas as well. More and more of us end up unemployed, and there is simply not enough money left in the pot to go round. It affects every single person. The banks, though, are desperate themselves to see the situation improve. The Royal Bank of Scotland boss, Stephen Heaster, has said that he has around £20 in the bank's coffers that is up for grabs, but because there are so many economic worries, businesses are refusing to borrow. It's the lack of confidence rearing its ugly head again. The government has announced an extension of the funding for lending scheme, which is designed to offer cheap financing to banks, so that they can pass on favorable loans to their customers. But even this move doesn't seem to be gaining favor with businesses. Mr. Heaster is saying that economic recovery must happen first, before businesses embark on borrowing programs again. IT equipment finance is a facility that a lot of people admit that they need, but relatively few are taking the bull by the horns and going for it. If the banks can see their way to lending more money, maybe, as Mr. Heaster has suggested, by them not having to operate by any commercial standard, they could undercut everyone because it would no longer be incumbent upon them to make a profit. Banks not making a profit? That'll be the day. And